Last night was exciting. Um, there was some head scratchers. It was some, I knew that was going to happen. And then it was some all-out surprises in some cases. I will say this. I don't know what Detroit was doing, but I do know exactly what Philadelphia was doing, and that was raising my blood pressure. As a rival, I got to respect what they're doing over there and how they're building that team for sure. But let's get right into these picks. So pick number one, everybody knew for a week or two that Bryce Young was going to be the pick for the Carolina Panthers. Pretty much a done deal. He canceled all of his other visits after he visited the Panthers. That's an A. Now, pick number two, the Houston Texans. It was all this smoke about them not taking the quarterback, not drafting a quarterback. I thought it was absolute BS. And what did they do? They ended up taking C.J. Stroud. Absolutely the right pick for them. New head coach. Go ahead and get your franchise started right, or get your regime started right, and go ahead and draft your quarterback. What I didn't expect for them to do is to turn around and trade back up to the number 3 spot. And who did they take? Will Anderson. At the time, I was like, maybe they go corner, maybe it's edge, maybe it's Jalen Carter. But no, they went with Will Anderson, and absolutely, good pickup. So for pick 2 and 3 for the Houston Texans, they both get an A for both of those picks. And then pick 4, the Indianapolis Colts. A lot of people believe that Will Levis stuff. I didn't believe that at all. There's no way possible if you have Anthony Richardson sitting there that you're going to pick Will Levis over Anthony Richardson. No way possible. So what did they do? They went ahead and drafted Anthony Richardson. I'm happy that they did that. If you're going to start off right, go ahead and get Anthony Richardson. You figure you have the head coach from Philadelphia, was the OC at Philadelphia. You got a guy with a similar trait as Jalen Hurts. So you go with Anthony Richardson. No problem there. So I'm loving that pick too at Anthony Richardson. They get an A for that. Well, so right now you had 3 quarterbacks go in the first. You had 3 quarterbacks go in the first 4 picks. And for me, sitting at 25 as a Giants fan, I'm like, okay, keep pushing these players down the board. Keep on doing it. So after that, you had the Seattle Seahawks, and I knew for sure. I said, man, this has to be the landing spot for Jalen Carter. It has to be the spot for Jalen Carter. It makes too much sense. Build up that defensive line. You got a player that could have some off-the-field issues. You put him up there in the Northwest, out there with nothing. And, you have Pete Carroll to help coach him up, get him right mentally. Didn't happen. What did they do? They went with the cornerback. And I was so surprised that they went with the cornerback, not because of the player, because they had drafted 2 cornerbacks last year. But when you got a guy like Devin Witherspoon sitting there, the number 1 corner in this draft, a lot of people were going between Witherspoon and Gonzalez. I did that as well. I pretty much thought they could be interchangeable, but they went with Witherspoon. They went with the aggressive physical cornerback, and I'm happy that they did that. So for them, I got to give them an A for that pick too. So the vibe of this draft, man, everybody was doing what they were supposed to do. Everybody, great picks. And like I said, down the board, you're giving these team A's. If you want to give them B's because of preference, you can do that too. But overall, these picks were going by, and I was liking all the picks that were made. So next we had the Arizona Cardinals. And again, okay, I'm thinking, they could go edge. They ended up going with Paris Johnson. They feel like Paris Johnson was the best offensive tackle on the board, so they went ahead and got him. Now, it was Paris Johnson, and then we had a late rise of Darnell Wright, and kind of Skaronski too, that you could fit were the best tackles, in this draft. But they went with Paris Johnson. Obviously, you want to protect your quarterback. That's hurt right now. It's funny. But you want to protect your quarterback for years to come, so you go ahead and get the best tackle in your opinion, Paris Johnson. I'm going to ahead and give that A to AB for them as well. Now you're sitting with the Raiders, and at the Raiders, I'm thinking, all right, so Will Levis probably going to go to the Raiders. They're going to let him sit behind Jimmy Garoppolo, and he's going to do his thing. No, they didn't do that. The Raiders didn't do that at all. They went with the smart pick, and they went on defense because we already know the Raiders' defense is trash. No offense, Raiders fans, but your defense is trash. You went with Tyree Wilson. You got a bona fide edge rusher in Tyree Wilson. I'm going to give the Las Vegas Raiders an A for that pick. Now, we're going to 8 and Atlanta Falcons. At this time, I'm thinking, possibly, you have you got Desmond Ridder. You have a quarterback, and you want to improve this team. And you want to give your quarterbacks either some weapons or maybe some protection. And Atlanta Falcons said, forget that. We want to go with the best player available. And they chose Bijan Robinson. Now, it was kind of a surprise to me but it's Atlanta, so it really didn't surprise me. But overall, for what it can be, it's a running back. It's Bijan Robinson, but it's still a running back. And I thought that maybe, Philly would get him at 10. That's what I had in one of the mocks. But, I'm happy that Philly didn't get him. But, Atlanta got Bijan Robinson. So I'm going to give that, a B plus, A. Because, again, I don't think that was a high need for the Atlanta Falcons. But it does bring them a weapon. It does, put some butts in the seats. And they need to sell tickets because they're not going to win any games. So that's the Atlanta Falcons pick. Again, I give that a B to an A. All right, so next, the Philadelphia Eagles actually trade up with Chicago. They're on the board. And in the spaces I was in on Twitter, everybody already knew what it was. Jalen Carter had fell, and this man went to the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'm like, touche. I can't be mad at that. They're trying to improve their team. They went with the best defensive player, well, arguably the best defensive player in this draft, one of the most talented guys, and they went with Jalen Carter. Again, that fits the need for them as well. Fletcher Cox is getting older. They just drafted Jordan Davis, but he's like a one technique. So you got a more versatile defensive tackle with Jalen Carter. And, I got to give them an A+. As much as I hate Philadelphia, I have to give them an A+. So next, Chicago Bears. Again, they traded out of the number 1 pick because they have Justin Fields. They don't need a quarterback. So what do? You take care of your quarterback. And how do you do that? You go ahead and draft the offensive tackle. Go ahead and protect your quarterback because Justin Fields is running for his life. Design plays, undesigned plays. That man was running for his life, taking unnecessary hits. So go ahead and solidify that offensive line, or take a step closer to solidifying that offensive line. And you got Darnell Wright. I'm going to go ahead and give the Chicago Bears an A as well. So now we're creeping up on Tennessee. And as soon as Tennessee was on the board, in my head, I'm thinking Peter Skaronski. They need a quarterback. Could it be Will Levis? And I'm like, okay, either it's going to be Will Levis because, word on the street is they gave up on Malik Willis. So I'm thinking, okay, this could be a spot for Will Levis. But they also might want to protect Tannehill. Tannehill getting older. He can still get things done. You still have Derrick Henry. They still can be contenders. They need a bounce back year. Peter Skaronski was a perfect pick for the Tennessee Titans. He looks like a Tennessee Titan. When you look at Peter Skaronski, you say, yeah, he's a Titan. He looks like what's the guy that left? He looks like the center that left, Ben Jones. He looks like a mixture of him and Taylor Lewan. He looks like every other offensive lineman, for the Tennessee Titans. So the Tennessee Titans went with Skaronski. I'm gonna go ahead and give that an A. So right now you're looking at everybody except for like Atlanta. Everybody is doing a great job in this draft. And even the pick of Bijan Robinson with Atlanta wasn't a bad pick. It's just like, okay, well, you needed some other things a little bit more than a running back. So I can't say that it was a bad pick. I was just saying maybe it wasn't a position of need, or maybe for them, they had some higher needs than a running back. Okay, so after that, we had the Detroit Lions, and I said in the opening, I didn't know what Detroit was doing. So the Detroit Lions decide, you know what, we lost Jamal Williams. We need some playmakers, and they go running back. And here's the thing, I love Jahmyr Gibbs. I had him mocked to the Kansas City Chiefs, sneaking into the first round. But not only did he sneak into the first round, he sneaked into the top 20. Not only he sneaked into the top 12. Jahmyr Gibbs, I like the player, but what is Detroit doing? What are they doing? There's a lot of needs there's a lot more, important needs for you, and you go running back. But again, I do like Jahmyr Gibbs. He can give you everything. In the running game, the receiving game, he is a dual threat running back. But Detroit, you didn't need to pick him this early. You have pick 33, if I'm not mistaken. In the early 30s, he might have got there. So, I think it's a loss of opportunity to do a couple things here. But again, I like Jahmyr Gibbs, but where he landed in Detroit, I got to give them like a D. I got to give Detroit like a D. Give Detroit the D. Pause. All right, so after that, we have the Green Bay Packers, and they pick up Luke Van Ness, a guy that I'm really high on. Edge guy, I thought maybe he might be in this range. Maybe the Patriots could take him. But Luke Van Ness to the Green Bay Packers, and it seems just like a perfect fit. Midwest kid, staying in the Midwest. yeah, wasn't a starter, but definitely got the reps. Has a good tool bag as an edge rusher. Have some versatility too, because he can play inside, he can play outside. I like what they did with Lucas Van Ness. You partner him up with Wyatt that you got last year on that defensive front. Now, is his hand going to be in the dirt, or is he going to be standing up? That's the question for me when it comes to the Green Bay Packers. But Luke Van Ness, I'm giving that a solid B for the Green Bay Packers. Next, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers. And for me, I just knew I would bet money that Joey Porter Jr. was going to be a pick, the legacy pick, you know. But you know what? They didn't go cornerback at all. They figured they drafted Kenny Pickett last year. What do we need to do for Kenny Pickett? We need to go ahead and get him some protection. So they went ahead and drafted Broderick Jones. I think it's a solid pick, tackle out of Georgia. Can play inside, can play outside. Let's see where he starts at. But again, Broderick Jones, solid pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm gonna go ahead and give that a B as well. Next, we have the New York Jets, and it's funny that they went edge rusher because I thought they were pretty set on edge rusher. But when you got a guy like Will McDonald, falling down the board like this, a guy that's highly talented, had a more productive 2021 season than the 2022 season, I understand the pick. I think it's solid. For the Jets, I think it's solid. I thought more offensive line help would be the spot right here too, because of Becton and his uncertainties and things like that. But no, they went with defense. They figured they got the teams they got to play, in that division. They went with defense. They went with Will McDonald. They went with defense. They went with Will McDonald. That's a tongue tied on there. But again, good pick, solid pick for the Jets. Good job. Now, the Washington Commanders. I had a Commander fan, and I said it before in another video, that was really, really high on Joey Porter. And at this point, he had his pick of the litter outside of, Devin Witherspoon of cornerback. And what did they do? They went ahead and went right down the list and grabbed, handpicked, I should say, Emmanuel Forbes. Christian Gonzalez is still on the board. Joey Porter is still on the board. Deontay Banks is on the board. Cam Smith too, if you're a Cam Smith fan. You went down the line and you said, you know what? I want Emmanuel Forbes. I need what he can bring me on defense. I need his ability to score points on defense. And you know what? I was high on Emmanuel Forbes. I had the New York Giants taking Emmanuel Forbes. Washington Commanders got him. I'm not upset with that. I'm going to give it a B. Again, the one knock against Emmanuel Forbes is his size. His weight. Has all the ability, all the talent, all the mind of a cornerback that you want. And guess what? He gains 10, 15 pounds over his career. He's going to be very, very good for a long time, in my opinion, for the Commanders. So I'm going to give the Commanders a B+, for that pick. A little bit of a reach, but still a B+. So right after that, New England goes. And the New England Patriots select Christian Gonzalez. I'm not surprised at all. They needed a cornerback. They needed secondary. And they got what some people believe was possibly the best cornerback in the class, or the second best cornerback in the class. And they got him, as the third best cornerback in the class. So solid pick from Christian Gonzalez. I'm going to go ahead and give the Patriots an A for that. The value was absolutely insane for that. So now Detroit is back on the clock. And again, what was Detroit doing? You had pick 33. Your first two picks, you could have got them at 33. You could have got him at 33. So I love this guy too, man. They got Jack Campbell out of Iowa. And I'm like, yeah, I understand. But they just re-signed Anzalone. They got the one kid that was a rookie last year that was good and got some good reps. I can't remember his name right now, but I remember him in Hard Knocks. He was showing out the veterans. And then you went and got the same type of linebacker in Jack Campbell. Again, very good, a thumper, reads his keys very well. All around solid linebacker. Another guy I was targeting, but I wasn't targeting him in the first round. But the Detroit Lions go Jack Campbell again. This is another pick where I love the player. I hate where he was picked. I got to give them a D. Another D for Detroit. Next, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I'm thinking, okay, this could be a spot for Will Levis too, because he's just falling down the board. And no, they go Kalijah Kancey. And to me, it makes too much sense. They're closer on the defensive side than they are on the offensive side right now, if you're looking at it. They have Baker Mayfield at quarterback, so they said, let's go ahead and solidify this defensive front. And let's see if we can make some noise in a weak division. The NFC South is a weak division. We'll see what happens this year. But again, Kalijah Kancey can't be mad at that. This is good value for the pick. I'm going to go ahead and give them a B, for Kalijah Kancey. So next, the Seattle Seahawks. And let me just tell you how mad the Seattle Seahawks make me, because they do such a great job. Players, like between last year and now this year starting off, the Seattle Seahawks are doing a wonderful job of drafting. They're putting on a masterclass in drafting. But in order to have a master, people got to fall. And in this case, the first wide receiver goes off the board, and it's going to be Jackson Smith-Njigba to the Seattle Seahawks. Now, the best year of JSN was 2021, when he already had Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave on the team. He didn't have to be the man. He had guys that were taking responsibilities of other cornerbacks, and he was in the slot putting in work. He goes to Seattle. It's DK Metcalf. It's Tyler Lockett. And now Jackson Smith-Njigba. He's going to put in work. Geno Smith is probably smiling from ear to ear right now, because not only did they not take a quarterback to put behind him, they went ahead and got him more weapons. They solidified that offensive line for the most part, and they have an early pick in round 2. So Seattle Seahawks, they get a A for this pick of Jackson Smith-Njigba. Absolutely great pickup for them. Next, we have the Los Angeles Chargers, and at this time in the spaces, we're saying it's going to be a run on wide receivers to watch. So the Chargers get up there, and they will go ahead and they select Quentin Johnson. Quentin Johnson is perfect for the Los Angeles Chargers. He's perfect for them. They like the big, tall receivers, physical receivers. That's what Quentin Johnson is. A little bit quicker than what they have already on the team. All around. I didn't want him for the Giants, but I'm glad that the Chargers got him. I'll give the Chargers a solid B for that pickup. Next, we have the Baltimore Ravens, and I remember arguing with somebody about, whether or not they should partner up Zay Flowers if he's there with Odell Beckham Jr. They just got the deal done with Lamar Jackson. You said, not only are we going to give you Odell Beckham, Lamar, we heard the cries of you. We heard the cries of the fans. We need to get you more weapons, and they went and got the ultimate weapon in Zay Flowers, especially at the wide receiver spot. He's a weapon. Slot, outside, gadget plays, all that. Zay Flowers is going to be an impact player for the Baltimore Ravens, especially when you got Odell Beckham lined up out there, and then you got Zay Flowers out there too, and then you got that monster of a tight end. The Ravens are back. The Ravens are back. I was laughing because, the Ravens fans, you guys were very nervous when with that Lamar contract. I know you guys are happy now, but you guys were absolutely big nervous when it came to that contract with Lamar. He got his deal. He got his money. Everything is good now. Okay, so after that, we have the Minnesota Vikings, and I'm sitting here thinking, okay, Jordan Addison is my number 1 wide receiver. He's 2 picks away. Is there a chance that he makes it to the New York Giants, or are the New York Giants going to make a move up? That didn't happen. The Minnesota Vikings are sitting there. They don't need a wide receiver, at least not this high. They need a cornerback. Deonte Banks is on the board. Joey Porter's on the board, but no. They went ahead and snatched up Jordan Addison. And again, I was prepared to lose Jordan Addison, but when he got so close to us, it hurt all over again. So I'm going to give the Minnesota Vikings an A for Jordan Addison. Pairing him up with Jettas. Kirk Weapons. Yeah, I could call him Kirk Weapons. Kirk Cousins has weapons now. And great pick for them. I give them an A. Okay, so next, the Jacksonville Jaguars were on the clock, but the New York Giants decide to trade up. And at this point, I'm like, there's only one person that they're trading up for. Actually, there's only maybe 2 people that they might trade up for. It's either going to be Nolan Smith, or it's going to be the cornerback Deonte Banks. Or is it going to be Joey Porter? Ended up being Deonte Banks. And again, Deonte Banks was a guy that I mocked often to the Giants. A lot of people had, the Giants early taking Deonte Banks because of what he can do. A physical corner, and he's also fast and intelligent. He fits Wink's system. You're giving Wink a weapon, and you should have seen Wink's reaction when we got him. I never seen a man hug another man so tight in my life. He was excited. I'm excited. I give the Giants an A for getting Deonte Banks where we got him. Actually, you know what? I give them a B+, A- B+, because we had to trade in order to get him. We did give up a player. We could have sat still and still got Deonte Banks, but they felt like they couldn't do that. So it is what it is after that. So then, just to round up some of the rest of the grades going on, the Buffalo Bills get the tight end Dalton Kincaid. I'm going to give that an A. Give more weapons to Josh Allen. How can you go wrong with that? The Dallas Cowboys go with Mozzie Smith. And shout out to my man, Nix. He's a Dallas Cowboys content creator, Nix. Mozzie Smith was one of his targets, for months now. And I'm happy that, he got his guy. After that, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars. They get to tackle Antoine Harrison. Why not protect your quarterback? Go ahead and give that an A as well, too. And then the Cincinnati Bengals get the next edge rusher and Myles Murphy. And that's big for them because, again, they've been making it to the playoffs, but they just can't get over the hump. And you add a guy on defense that can make some moves, that's going to be an impact player and could possibly, depending on the rest of the draft, get you over the hump with Myles Murphy. So I give them an A for that, too. Again, this was a great draft last night. A lot of drama, a lot of great picks, smart decisions. After that, the New Orleans Saints got Brian Bresee. Again, I like that they took a chance on him. He had a down year due to off the field. He had some illnesses. He dealt with the loss of his sister, tragically. And you know what? I like the kid's story, and I'm actually rooting for that kid a lot, except for when you play the Giants. But shout out to Brian Bresee. I'm glad the Saints got him. I'll go ahead and give that a B. And then next we have the Philadelphia Eagles. And again, what are the Philadelphia Eagles doing? Raising my blood pressure. Right into their lap falls Nolan Smith. Pause. So not only did you get Jalen Carter, you also got the captain of the Georgia defense and the emotional leader of the Georgia defense in Nolan Smith. So now you are, and I said it before, the Philadelphia Georgia Bulldogs Eagles. Between the last two drafts, they have four Georgia Bulldogs. Four Georgia Bulldogs. The whole damn defense from the 2021 championship is on the Philadelphia Eagles. That could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. I'm leaning towards it being a good thing because I got to deal with these guys for the next few years. Then, so I'm giving them an A plus for the Philadelphia Eagles. And then lastly, you had the Kansas City Chiefs, which made just a smart pick. Might have been the best player available at the time. Might also fit a need, but they went with the edge rusher, Felix and Aduke Uzoma. I had to look down because I'm not going to remember that name at all. So, let's be honest. I haven't done a lot of film watching on Felix, but I trust Andy Reid, so I'm pretty sure that grade is going to fall anywhere from a A or a B. But that's going to be the grades for that first round. My reaction to the players picked on the first round. I want to thank you guys for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that share button too if you like the content. But again, I am a New York Giants fan, but I talk all NFL, all football all the time. I try to be as unbiased as possible. So again, I want to thank you guys for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And from one Giants fan to the NFL fans, let's go.